Beautiful.
Beautiful as always.
Yeah.
Always beautiful.
All right, well, welcome
Oh,
to Super Earth Podcast. This is a Helldivers 2 podcast. We got myself, DB, and then Bacon and Snuff. How you guys doing?
Hello.
Hello.
I'm doing great.
Yeah, I'm
A
good.
little tired, but doing good.
Oh, you're allowed to be tired.
So what you guys been up to? Anything happening in Helldivers?
I have actually not played that much Helldivers this week.
That's crazy.
I've been
insane.
mostly busy and also playing a lot of Monster Hunter.
I was on today actually, and I was doing like a quick play. So whenever I think Snuff, is that when people do like an SOS beacon, then you get pulled into quick play?
You have quick play, and then if someone sends out an SOS beacon, it will prioritize that mission if someone looking for a random match.
Well, that's what I was doing this morning. It was pretty fun, just getting into some bug fighting. But yeah, so I was doing quick play, and I get into a squad of 3, so I make 4, and then one by one they each keep leaving until it's like I'm by myself, but then I get other quick players jumping in, and then I left, and so I know by the time I left, the whole makeup of the squad was different, but that's lore accurate. So
Yeah, that happens sometimes.
Now, is it still the same ship if you replaced all the
It's the
divers?
ship of Theseus.
The super destroyer of Theseus?
Have you ever heard about the ship of Theseus? What about you, DV? Did you win any of the matches or did you lose?
we were good. Yeah, we were doing good. I won. Yeah. No, that one I left
Yeah.
because by the time I started that game, the reinforcements were pretty much all out, and so like you had to wait like a minute and a half to like get called in, and so at that point I was like third in line to get called in, and it was a minute and a half per Helldivers. So I'm like, I'm done. The makeup of the squad is different. Nobody that started this mission is here. I'm out. But the rest of them I was doing good. Yeah, we like extracted, did some good stuff. I played. Well, actually, yeah, I was about to play with some guys from the Discord, and then we had to record.
Yeah, it happens.
Man.
But I did get to talk to a couple of them. Talk to Mela, talk to Darth Wraith, who we read his listener story last episode. And so
Yeah.
I was telling him like how awesome it was. Dude, I really liked his listener story from last episode, and it was fun to talk to him.
Oh, yeah.
And the event should have started now as well.
Yeah.
So I hope people have started getting into the way of the axe.
Yeah.
Till Valhalla.
Till Valhalla.
I see that you've got your axe and shield on you right now. Have you been doing that challenge yourself yet?
Of course. Of course I have. But I'll let other people do the challenge. I'm not gonna steal the title from them. I'm gonna let people have a chance to take it. This is an event from me to you, not for me.
Are you sure about
But,
that?
I mean, I can help people out. I don't mind that. So, if you need my help, just let me know.
So Snuff, you said you were playing Monster Hunter?
Yeah, I've been playing a little bit of Monster Hunter,
Okay.
the new one. What's it called? Monster Hunter Wilds
Okay.
lately. Because my good friend Tony actually gifted it to me. So
Now, have you like
Oh.
before Helldivers? What sort of games would you play before that?
that varied a whole lot. I played some Civilization. I played a lot. Ark. I played
Is
Jurassic Park Operation Genesis, as we all know.
is there like a genre? Like for me, I mostly play shooters. I play a lot of other things too, adventure games, whatever.
No,
RPGs.
I would say maybe mostly tactical games. I
Okay.
think
And I'm curious.
a lot of them are shooters, but often just tactics is more what I'm into, I guess.
Yeah, I'm curious about the differences because I'm mainly shooters. I do a lot of other things. I do some tactical games, some RPGs, a little adventure here and there, but mostly first-person shooters. And then Bacon, what kind of games were you playing before Helldivers?
So growing up, I was homeschooled, so I played a lot of Minecraft. I don't know how many hours, but it has to be at least 5,000 hours.
Ooh.
Jeez.
You're a
You're
pro,
almost up there
dude.
with me.
Oh yeah, I played it for so long. But in high school, that's when Minecraft started to kind of die down, and I had a sticker on my water bottle, and someone was like, whose water bottle is this? Who plays Minecraft still? And then that was when I stopped playing for a little bit.
Oh no, just poor Bacon trauma dumping about his grade school years.
My Minecraft.
Oh
yeah.
no.
But yeah, then it became popular again, and I started playing again. I'm like, yay. But other than that, I played a little bit of Rocket League. And most recently, I started playing Split Fiction
Oh.
with my lady, with my wife, and that's a really
one
really
is
fun
that?
game.
Yeah.
So if you've ever played a game like It Takes Two or A Way Out, where it's kind of split screen, but you guys are in the same story.
Yeah, well,
Kind of
the whole
graphic.
reason I was kind of bringing it up is, and I think Lito was saying he was playing Hell Let Loose, and then I've been playing Armor Reforger. One of the greatest kind of moments from the Super Earth podcast season 1 was the Jeff Sticer moment, and it's like so many people played Halo, and they just love to hear Jeff Sticer. And I think that's
I played Halo too.
but yeah, that's my point, is that like, I think this game brings together so many different genres. Like, it doesn't matter what genre of game you play. Like, people be playing this game from whatever background.
I honestly was gonna guess that Bacon mostly played cooking simulators. Just frying some egg and bacon every day. I like 10 hours in Overcooked. Overcooked is a fun game though. I played it a little bit. It's pretty fun.
There's that one mini game in Mario Party where you're searing the steak and you have to flip it.
See, I knew it. He plays cooking simulators.
Yeah, but why do you think that is? Like, why do you think so many people like are drawn to this game? Like, is it the cinematic moments that the game brings out? It's like, I also play. I played League of Legends. I played Dark Souls. So I really like really brutal, really difficult games that like challenge you. And so for me, it's like this game. At least when I was playing it, last year, it was really, really difficult, and I really enjoyed the challenge. It's a little bit easier this year, but yeah, what do you guys think? Like, why does it bring so many people together?
Good question. But you have kind of open world. You have some story. You have good graphics. You have different environments. You get the horde shooting. You get the tactical part. You can be a sniper if you want. There's a lot of different ways to play it, and I think that's why a lot of people bring their life into this.
I forgot who said it, but it was in one of the other editions where they said that the reason that they played was because it's not PvP. And I agree with that wholeheartedly. I don't like being against other people other than in Rocket League. It's not a battle of you're better than me, so you're gonna win. There's a ton of bots. Are the Helldivers better than Joel?
Yeah, I think that's so true, because like one of my best friends, who's still my best friend today, we've been best friends for like 20 years, but he doesn't really like multiplayer games where you're fighting other players, and so I can't get him to play stuff like Armor Reforger with me or Call of Duty, but he'll play stuff like Helldivers with me, or Sea of Thieves, which is light PvP. You can get into PvP, but it's mostly PvE. And so it's true, it's like both. It's that type of game where you can get a lot of different people in, because like if they don't like, it's like you can get into this game and be stressed and do really difficult things, but you also can kind of just chill, kind of like our player characters are right now. I don't know if you guys have looked back in, but all of our vehicles are destroyed, everything's on fire.
Yeah, I noticed. I also accidentally dove away for a little bit.
I was watching that, and I almost just started bursting out laughing, but I would have interrupted. I'm like, I gotta mute.
Nothing happened.
I noticed there was a dead bug body right beside my left foot.
I'm glad we brought these guard dogs, because if not, we would have, I guess, died.
There
It would have been,
New
yeah,
ones
it would have been
would-
really
Another
funny
vehicle.
for the podcast to watch.
The meteor shower right next to us.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just waiting for the purple light to just
Mhm.
start illuminating.
Well, Snuff, I have a question for you. You got, you're level 150.
Yeah.
You've got 700 hours, probably closing on 800 here shortly. What keeps you playing the game?
Way over 800. I'm way over
Oh,
I'm gonna die.
well, our very first test episode, you said you were at 700 something, so I just had to assume.
8:30 when we did that
Oh, okay.
episode.
So what keeps you keep coming back to the game?
I would say the variation in gameplay is one of the things, and I just enjoy killing stuff. I don't have a particular reason. I just like the game.
I actually do have a question for you. Snuff, do you think that you could go and look at your career kills? I'm actually curious about this.
All right, I can do that. Total enemy kills is 329,826
Ooh.
as of the recording.
Dang. 329,000? Golly.
Yeah.
You better do one of
Yeah,
those kill
150
missions by yourself, dude.
Yeah, 115,000 are Terminids, 130,000 are automatons, and 84,000 is Illuminates.
I was playing with you, Snuff, the other day, and I'm not going to say I got bullied, but I put on, I don't know, we went on the hardest difficulty. I was expecting it to be hard, and I put on, I think it was a localization booster. That's what it's called.
Yeah.
Okay, so my question to you is, and this is a good thing to talk about, like, maybe we'll cover, if you're new, what boosters should you prioritize, but like explain what a booster is, what they kind of do, and then like which ones you should prioritize if you're new.
So boosters give you kind of different perks, like extra perks to the whole team. So you have like boosted health, so you can take a few more shots from the bots or a few more hits. You have optimization for the health pods, so you can drop in with full ammo and full grenade loadouts. You have more stamina, and so on and so on. There's a lot of different ones. The 4 best ones is vitality boost, health pod optimization, stamina, and muscle enhancement. Those are the 4 best ones, like overall. On
Wait,
any mission,
say
I would
those
say.
a little bit slower, then tell me which each one does.
You have the vitality one, that is a health boost for the whole team. And then you have health pod optimization, which is you drop in with full grenades and full ammo, so you don't have half of it. And then you have stamina boost, which gives you longer sprinting time and faster recovery. And then you have muscle enhancement that lets you traverse difficult terrain more easily, like hills and slopes and things like that.
Okay, do you think that is like good from early game to end game, or do you think there are,
Yes.
when you get more advanced, are there different ones that you could try out?
Yeah, there are a lot of different ones you can try out. Like, everything is okay, but those are the 4 best ones in the whole game, like from start to end game.
Okay.
I would say those are the 4 best ones.
Today I was doing a super Helldive Terminids, I think. I was I was selecting all my stuff, and I ended up just like I don't like any of the like the real options for like main weapons right now. I mean, I like them, but it's like for me just the normal Liberator it's good at close range, it's good far range, it's good medium range. It has decent accuracy. It had, it's like I don't go through ammo too fast. It's like I ended up just using that today, and it was, doing okay.
Yeah.
What do you think, like a base loadout, like what should you strive to get right away if you're brand new? Like, is the starter pistol fine? Is the base grenade fine? What should you trying to be? Are there any specific stratagems you should try to get? Should you try to get like the 500 kg as soon as you can?
Like this, the starter kit you get is like, it's not good for anything, but it's not bad at anything either. It's like good all-around weaponry. So it's okay at everything, I would say, for the starter things. You can specialize more, and what you want to get first really depends on what kind of player you are. I would say there are, of course, some things that are simply better than other things, and that's just how it is. But overall, just the war bonds, you can go through all of those and see what kind of weaponry you want to focus on.
Okay.
Some war bonds are more for explosive stuff, some are for fire, some for gas. So it really depends on what kind of player you are.
I kind of
On
remember
what
when
you
I
want.
first started, I was doing a lot of automatons, and a really good early weapon that I don't see a lot of people using is that anti-material rifle. And it's like, maybe it's not, and I've used it on Helldive back level 9, back when Helldive was like really tough. And it's not as good as the autocannon, but if you're not high enough level to get the autocannon, it's a solid choice, because you can hit a Hulk, dead on in that red light, like hit them 2 or 3 times and they're down. And you can take out everything else on the automaton side with the anti-material rifle. And so like that's a good
Yeah.
option early game. I also know
Yeah, I would say the AMR is really good, especially if you like the sniping part.
Yeah, and then there's also and automatons, in my opinion, are easier to take out when they're farther away. If you got
Oh,
that,
100%.
and especially I like to pair that with the EMS mortar. The EMS mortar, I don't see a lot of people running.
Yeah.
But what happens is it's really good crowd control, so you don't get ran up on as much. Like the automatons and the bugs as well aren't hitting you in the face quite as much when you get the EMS mortar. Because I've seen people talk about EMS grenades, like that could be helpful, but I'd rather have grenades as like a last resort if I need to get out of a sticky situation.
Yeah, the stun grenades is more if you're up close and personal.
That makes sense.
For example, the event we're running right now, one big tip, bring the stun grenades.
And maybe an EMS mortar if you're not allowed stratagems that kill stuff.
Yeah.
And those two things could make it a lot easier for you. But then also when you start, I think one of the first things you get when you start is like, is it an orbital laser? Some sort of orbital laser? Which isn't the best thing ever, but I think it has a really short cooldown, like 60 seconds or 80 seconds.
Oh, you're thinking about the precision strike?
Yeah, something like that. So it might not be the best thing ever, but it's a quick cooldown so you can use it a lot. Bacon, if you were just starting out, or if you have a buddy who just came to the game, what would you say? Like, how would you play? Where would you start? Would you tell them to fight Illuminates, Terminids, Automatons? What guns would you use?
So I'm still in that kind of zone of, oh, I'm first starting out, because I just started in December, January. I've only been playing for 3 months and not a lot at that.
Well, let me say that you're
So
probably
what I
better
did,
equipped to answer the question then, because you're most recently have been in that situation.
yeah. So what I did is, well, when I first started, I saw a clip that was like, oh, if your hit markers are red, then you're doing full damage. If they're white, you're doing half damage. And if it's showing a shield, that means it's not hitting and it's just deflecting.
Oh, that's a really good tip. That's a really good
And
thing to know.
yeah, so I learned that and I'm like, okay, so the different armor levels of light, medium, and heavy, I need a gun that shoots medium armor, so then I'm doing full damage to light and I don't really have to know exactly where to shoot on enemies, no matter if it's Terminid, Automaton, or Illuminate. So I use the Liberator Penetrator very often. I go through ammo like nothing else though, and it seems to be working pretty well. But yeah, honestly, for enemies, which one you want to go for, that's kind of up to you. And then I don't want to say find your own way, but find what works for you. Try out new things. Don't be afraid to fail. And like I tried the breaker, and it's not my play style. It's a great weapon, especially for crowd control and dealing with the flying terminids, the shriekers.
Yeah, I agree with that. I was using the breaker is just a little bit too close range for my playstyle, so that's why I was choosing that liberator, the normal one, and then I was using like a laser cannon for like my heavy weapon, and that'll go through anything. It maybe takes a little bit longer,
Oh yeah.
but you know, there's no ammo involved. Like I don't have to worry about the ammo, and I can use it on everything if I need to. But as opposed to my question when I was like, what's good for new players? I don't know if that's the easiest thing to achieve right in the beginning. You know, I don't think that's the quite the easiest gun to get. And so I was just kind of milling this about. Like, I think the gun, the bugs, you'd want like a machine gun, right? Like I want to use the stalwart. I want the normal. I think you begin the game and you have the light machine gun, which is the, you know, just the whatever you have to. It's a light machine gun. It's belt fed. It has a lot of bullets, but it has a long reload time. And the problem with it is that you have to kneel when you're reloading it. Where the stalwart, you don't have to kneel. But my problem with that is, okay, if you bring this machine gun into a Terminid horde and you're killing all these Terminids, well, what happens when you run into a Bile Titan? What happens when you run into I know they're not called berserkers. What are they called? The ones that crash into you. The big guys.
Hulks. No.
The
Chargers. Yeah.
Charger.
So it's like, what do you do with that? If you're a new player and you only have these, you know, whatever, like what are the easiest things to unlock to take out Chargers and Bile Titans? Would it just be the laser I was talking about, the orbital laser precision strike, as you called it?
Yeah, any orbitals usually takes down most things. So the orbital precision strike you can use. Eagle strikes can also be used. You have the 500 as well, but the 500 isn't that good for. It's a big boom, but it doesn't do that much, kind of. So I would, if you're in the beginning, and you're not an expert thrower, orbital 120, for example, is pretty good because it shells the area in a smaller area than a 380.
Yeah. But
you have the orbital laser that follows the biggest target or whatever it chooses.
There is one benefit
in that area.
There's a benefit to anything that is on the Pelican. I don't know if that's what it's called, but the benefit to it is those 500 kgs, I can throw 2 of them basically right away. There's no cooldown on it. And then the Pelican has to reload. But where the 380 has an extremely long cooldown. It's like 280 seconds or something.
But the thing is, for the Eagle strikes, different one, you have 500, you have the airstrike, you have the cluster bomb, strafing run, so on. For those, if you're not the best at throwing precisely and knowing how to time, how far ahead of things you need to throw it yet, I would say strafing run is probably the easiest to learn because it goes in a straight line from where you throw it, and it also the fastest call in, and you also have 5 uses.
Is there any
which is pretty useful?
Are there any stratagems that is like a cheat code? Like to me, I think what is it, the guard dog, right? I was doing that guard dog, the one that you said to use with our guard dog 823 or something with the liberator, and it really is just doming bugs left and right. Like it's awesome.
If you have a guard dog, it helps a lot because you get basically an extra set of hands that shoot stuff around you.
Yeah.
But it can also, if you haven't learned how to put it down in your bag, it can also kind of fuck you over by when you're trying to sneak past something, you start shooting whatever you sneak past.
Yeah.
So it can also blow your cover. But yeah, you can call it back in on your back if you're trying to sneak past something.
Yeah. Oh, I actually just thought of something else for a new player. So stratagems, at least on PC, when you're doing stratagems, I don't know if it's by default, but for me, I had my WASD as my stratagem, so it would stop me from running. So recently, I changed the keybind so I could do my like numpad or whatever, so I could do stratagems while I'm running, so I can run away from bugs and throw stuff down while I'm running. Because I've seen people do that and it looks way better. But I'm still
Yeah.
having kind of a hard time, with my muscle memory doing that because I have to take my hand off my mouse. How's that on console, Bacon?
Unfortunately, I don't think there's a way, or I think you can probably rebind it to like your X, circle, triangle, and square, but it's
What is it by default?
so by default it's just the D-pad, and the D-pad is on the left side with the same thumb that you use to run. So really, there's not much we can do in rebinding, calling in stratagems, and doing the things without kind of messing up the game. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because a controller, there's more limited on how many buttons you have to choose from, so you kind of can't do the same key bindings as well.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, I just found out how to drop stuff. So you just hold down on the D-pad and you can drop your samples, or you can drop the portable hell bomb, or a spare gun. I didn't know that, but now I do.
Yeah, it's a good thing to know. And I'm glad you said it in the episode, so if there's like new players listening, now they know too. Yeah. Our top 5. So for this week, we decided to do top 5 major orders. This is something that's been on the list previously, but today, before recording, I went ahead and went to the Discord, and this is why you guys need to be in the Discord if you're not. And I think it was it either the Bunker Rat who recommended major orders, and he kind of like psyched me up. I'm like, yeah, that is a good idea. That's what we'll do. So today we're doing top 5 major orders. So who's going first? We're doing Snuff.
Yeah, sure.
All right. What's your number 5 major order?
The first one on my list is not a specific order that has been, but it's all of the killing orders where you just have to kill stuff. So I like killing stuff, but
well, that's awesome. I do have. I think I have one of those on my list as a little bit of a spoiler. What were you gonna say, Bacon?
Is there anything that you would want to add to the kill orders, like how you're doing with your challenge? You have to do melee kills. Would you want them to be like grab an axe, grab a shield?
It would
as a major order
be cool to see, but I don't think they should do it because it would put a lot of people off from actually doing the MO because people as you talked about earlier, people have a lot of different types of gameplay. So if you limit it to one type of gameplay, people are gonna skip on that demo and not help out. So I don't think they should do that.
Yeah. Now, for the reward for these kill orders, has there ever been like a really good reward? Like, what have we got out of these kill orders?
I don't remember specifically what you got from it. It varies a lot. Sometimes it's like for bugs, for example, we're collecting E710, and for bots, if there's a kill order for bots, it's usually to gather materials to construct something.
And everyone gets every major order gets medals, right? That's like a common.
Yeah, for your reward, it's always medals. Medals you always get from MOs, and sometimes you get new stratagems, things like that.
Okay. Well, hey, Bacon, do you want to go next?
Sure. My number 5 is save the gas mines or the moderately feeble young adults. Mostly because of the name. But let me think of my words. In the middle of this major order, there was an update that was pushed. So instead of being hold the planet, instead of it being hold the planet when the order expires, liberation rates had skyrocketed. So Helldivers were doing a great job, and there was no glitches or anything like that. And they did well, and we got both the moderately feeble young adults and the gas mines.
Nice. That's the one that we kind of mentioned on our last episode, right?
Yeah, I think we talked a little bit about of it in the last episode. Yeah, I think we dropped in on it a little bit.
Where like Super Earth, it put out an announcement that was like, nothing unusual has happened within the last 24 hours. If you think it has, you might be under Illuminate mind control.
Yeah.
So please report yourself.
That's a solid one. It's a solid number 5 pick for sure. Yeah. So my number 5 major order it's A1-4-3, Operation Swift Disassembly, Phase 4, Annihilation. This was against the Automaton Legion. The briefing is the automatons have been a thorn in the side of freedom long enough. There is only one sure way to defend our citizens from the bots: total eradication. All Helldivers are ordered to make an all-out push to completely destroy the Automaton Legion, protect our way of life, destroy the automatons at any cost. The outcome was a success. We fully eradicated them from our galaxy. Then, I don't know, a couple weeks later, a month later, I don't know how long, they did end up coming back. I would say they came back stronger, but I don't think Snuff has that opinion. What do you think, Snuff? Did they come back stronger, or did they come back weaker?
Sorry, I didn't pay attention. I was stuffing my face with cake. What are we talking about now?
So in Operation Swift Disassembly Annihilation, we completely eradicated the Automaton Legion. But as you know, later on they came back. So my question was, do you think they came back stronger or weaker?
Well, I mean, technically, they came back stronger, I would say. But the game has changed some since the beginning, So they came back stronger, but it's also easier,
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to explain, but
so basically,
most people there probably understand what I mean.
Yeah, well, I'll kind of elaborate, because maybe some people don't know. But when the automatons were originally on the map, they only took up a couple different blocks of the galaxy, right? When we completely eradicated them, they came back and they took up maybe 2/3 as much, or the previous one was 2/3 as much as they have now. And so they came back. They kind of technically came back stronger. And they also, what's interesting, they took over the homeworld of a faction from Helldivers 1. And the name of it is I can't think of the name of it right now, but it's
the one for the cyborgs.
Cyborgs, yes.
So Cyberstan.
Yeah, so when the Automaton Legion came back, they took over Cyberstan, which is home of the cyborgs. Which is pretty interesting, and it had a lot of people thinking that, maybe we'll get the cyborgs in Helldivers 2, which could be pretty cool. But yeah, now it's like, kind of every episode we're hitting on how easy it is now compared to a year ago. So yeah, they came back stronger. They also seem a little bit easier. But as far as actually taking out a planet, like, it's about the same as it was. Just actually fighting them is easier.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And I mean, the map as we see it at the moment is kinda at a standstill. There's not much neither liberating or losing happening right now as well. It's kind of on a standstill.
Mm-hmm.
You can still liberate, but the chance of you liberating something right now is pretty low.
Yeah. And then, along the same lines of, oh, maybe we get cyborgs in, we did eventually get the Illuminate in. So do you think that maybe
Yeah.
eventually we'll get the cyborgs in or no?
I don't think so, because I think the automatons are kind of taking over their role.
Mm,
But who knows? Maybe we'll see them.
it could be good.
Kind of hard to tell.
Maybe if we push them out and occupy the cyber stand again, maybe we'll see cyborgs again.
Yeah.
But yeah, how about
might.
your number 4? What's your number 4 pick for best major orders?
Oh, it's killing stuff orders. You know, it's I want to kill stuff. I want to see those numbers grow. So yeah, that's.
Do you know what the current kill count is?
Oh, the total kill count?
Or the total? Yeah.
In game?
Yeah.
Ooh, I can check. It's a good question. So, what number would this be? I think it's 165 billion enemies killed. Yeah. 165 billion enemies have been killed so far.
What do we get to get to? What's the goal number?
Oh, we the order now is not killing order anymore.
Okay.
There's a new that one has passed by this time. It's a new major order right now.
That's why you haven't played.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. I want to see the numbers grow. Yeah, but no, like total enemies killed right now is 165 billion.
Okay.
That's crazy.
Yeah, there's a lot of enemies.
Well, what about you, Bacon? What's your number 4?
My number 4 is saving Moridesh from the Meridian Singularity or saving the Deep Mantle Forge complex on Claorel. I don't remember why I chose it.
Well, can you explain it a little? Elaborate a little bit what it is.
Yeah, so the Illuminate and the automatons were basically attacking in 2 different fronts of the automatons were on the Clairel, trying to take the Deep Mantle Forge. And that, let me pull up some information. So yeah, Clairel is a deep mantle forge complex. The smelters and refineries on this planet turn crude materials into usable hardware. If the automatons got a hold of that, they would have another step or another leg up in the galactic war, but at the cost of a planet of Moridesh. So how we see a pattern of it's either save this or save the planet. How many more things are we going to save before we stop the planets from exploding and becoming like Angel's Venture?
Mm-hmm.
What is our cutoff?
We don't know. We don't know
It's
yet.
An open-ended question
Yeah.
for the community.
Neither of us have any answers yet to that.
Mm-mm.
Well, okay.
How about you, DB? What's your number 4?
My number 4. So my number 4 major order is A1-4-8 Gathering E710. This was in April of last year. It's against the Terminid Horde. Thanks to the valiant and unceasing defense of the Helldivers, a robust defensive line has been established. This is likely only a temporary respite, but while the bots refit in preparation to break through our defenses once more. We now have the opportunity to refuel our war effort. The defense effort depleted our E710 reserves. In order to allow our counteroffensive, the Helldivers are ordered to manually produce Terminid corpses for conversion into E710. So essentially, kill 2 billion Terminids. The outcome was success. The kill count was glitched, and we accomplished it much faster than we should have. I think what was happening, somebody told me that it would take the total kills of your team in one mission, and it would attribute it to each person in that team. So instead of, if you killed 200 but your team killed 1,000, you would get, it would count for 1,000 for each person on that team. So you would have 4,000 kills instead of 1,000 added to the total. Or that's what I was told. I don't know how true that is, but that was a fun one. I actually remember playing that one. Also, this is the point where we kind of made the discovery E710 upside down is oil. It kind of, it kind of alludes to a dark, seedy, ulterior motive that Super Earth may have, but I won't speak on that.
Am I hearing treason?
But yeah, it's a fun one. It's one of those kill orders that Snuff loves so much. Maybe I wonder if he'll have this on his list.
Well, maybe.
Speaking of which,
step onto
are we on to your number three? What's your number three?
Yeah, my number three is Operation Enduring Peace. That is the destruction of Meridia when that became a super colony, and we had no choice but to blow it up, basically.
Dang.
That was probably one of my favorites. Yeah, that's my number three, I would say, because when, especially phase 2, when we started actually fisting that dark fluid into the planet's surface.
I don't know if I like the way you said that.
Yeah, I think that's my number three, because during those missions, it made the game so hard on all difficulties. Like, it made it so incredibly hard that it was almost impossible to extract with your life. You could finish the mission, which also was extremely hard, because there was a bug in the beginning that made the enemies spawn on top of the tectonic drill. So, but even when they fixed that at the end of that demo, it was still insanely hard to actually do it. And that is why it's my number three.
Yeah, it's a solid number three. I wonder what your number two and one is, because that's a good one.
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah. I think that Mike said, or Alito said a long time ago in the season 1, that you guys, that, wow, words are coming out great. That it was, you were meant to lose that battle.
You were 100%.
And, oh yeah. I can't wait to see more of those core moments. What is the Spider-Man thing?
Spider-Man?
Well, I know in Inside Out, there's core memories.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's those are like one of the
but yeah, it's like a defining moment.
You can kind of call it, I can kind of main mission of the different MOs, kind of.
Yeah. Well, so what does that bring us? Are we at number 3 for Bacon?
Yeah, I think so.
Canon event was the phrase I was looking for.
Yeah.
So my number 3 is A2-2-4, and this is from the Major Orders Wiki, whatever. Enter the Gloom, mainly for the aesthetic and all the quote-unquote least cinematic Helldivers experience, and all those clips of shooting into the fog and then illuminating the Bile Titan, and oh my gosh, it's so cool.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
And it was a killing one, so
Yes.
hey Snuff.
Hello.
That's awesome. Yeah, that kind of made, you know, on my last list, I kind of had one similar to that just for the planets because it was an aesthetic reason.
Yeah, for the Fourier
Yeah.
Prime.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, so my
Good one.
number 3 major order. What did I just say? Number 3. My number 3 major order is A1-4-10 Operation Legitimate Undertaking Phase 1 Citizen Rescue. It was with the Automaton Legion. Intel has identified surviving citizens on 2 planets. On Chuhi, citizens who have proved their loyalty through testing of a new fortification stratagem are trapped. On Penta, citizens who have synthesized tons of caustic chemicals for a new support weapon stratagem are waiting to rescue. Likely, only the citizens and weaponry of the first planet liberated will be saved. So, the outcome of this, well, let me just say that we had the choice of liberating a planet that produced the airburst rocket launcher or the one that produced the MD-17 anti-tank mines. And the outcome of this is that we chose to liberate the planet that had the RL-77 airburst rocket launcher. And the funny thing about this is it set a precedent because this was the first time that we had the choice to unlock the anti-tank mines, but it was not the last. At a certain point, they were just like trying to make it easy on us. They gave us so many opportunities to unlock it, and we just did not want to. But Snuff, how many chances did we get to unlock it?
4 times, I believe it was. And we got
insane.
the anti-tank mines on the 4th because if I remember correctly, they made it so easy that we pretty much had no choice but to win it. It started becoming a little bit of a meme.
So my number 3 pick was a bit of a meme pick.
Yeah, and to say that the gas mines that we recently got as well, that kind of gave us for free because of the bug they had.
Yeah.
It was 100% going to become the same thing all over again. 100%. 100%.
That's kind of the great thing about this game is that the lore, like, it continues with the community of this game creates the lore. And there's so much lore in there that wouldn't happen. Like, there's a lot of other video games where people make tons and tons of YouTube videos about the lore, but it's like we're living the lore right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. The developers are in on it.
Mm-hmm.
They're doing a great job. I really do like how the developers handle the game.
Yeah, I think they did a pretty good job.
But yeah, so I think we're on to Snuff's number 2. I wonder what it could be.
Well, who knows? Oh, my 2 is actually split up into 2 because I couldn't decide on which one, and that is save the children or get the anti-tank mines, which we just talked about.
Yeah.
And liberating Malevolent Creek.
Okay.
I couldn't decide which one. I wanted on number 2. So it's split up.
So it's a tie.
It's a tie. But I wanted the children for the memes. And Malevolent Creek, fantastic. Well, even though I didn't get to serve in it, still fantastic.
Well, because it's your number 2, why don't you talk? We'll do a 2-part this way. My number 2 was A1-4-1 Liberation of Malevolent Creek. So why don't you go ahead and talk about the children, and then I'll talk about Malevolent Creek.
Yeah, can do.
Cough, cough, spoilers. Children are my number 1.
Or you can hold off then if you want to.
We can hold up, yeah. We can.
No,
hold
it's
up.
okay.
Because there's another spoiler. My number 1 came up on the list already as well. So I didn't talk about it then because I was going to talk about it on my number 1. So I'll talk about. We'll hold off on children, and I'll talk about Malevon Creek, unless
Yeah.
anybody wants to talk about it for their number one.
Children.
But yeah, so my number two, same as you, A1-4-1 Liberation of Malevon Creek against the Automaton Legion. The briefing says several weeks ago, our citizens watched in horror as Malevelon Creek fell to the Automaton. Millions of valiant heroes perished attempting to defend it. This travesty will be allowed to continue no longer. Take vengeance for the fallen. Honor our heroes. Liberate Malevelon Creek. And it was a success. And this kind of came after the notoriety of Malevelon Creek. Snuff, you were kind of telling me why Malevelon Creek became popular to begin with. There wasn't a major order on it to begin with, but then later on, like after it fell, it became this major order. And I think the community kind of like, it's one of those lore moments because it was so notorious to begin with. Like the community just kind of latched onto the major order, and we fought for it tooth and nail and took it back.
Yeah. It kind of became Space Vietnam, and it was a lot of people's first introduction to the automatons. So most people had no clue on how to fight them. So, yeah.
Yeah.
It was like starting all over again.
And also the difficulty was ramped up. Not like on a difficulty selectable, but like it was harder to play on the planets because there were more bots, more enemies. They were sniping you from across the map.
Yeah, and it actually goes back to what we were talking about earlier, how I like to play. My play style against the automatons is like, take a step back, play from a distance, take out a whole patrol of automatons before they even see you. And you can't do that on Malevelon Creek. It's very difficult. Like, it is really Space Vietnam. And so, for that reason, like...
You have the jungle, you have water.
Yeah, you don't want to be up close with automatons, really. Like, you're in a bad spot if you are.
Unless you have an axe in your hand.
Unless you have an axe and you... No. But yeah, that was fun. So, why don't we... Let's see, what's your number two, Bacon?
My number two is defending Calypso from the Illuminate. And it's a defense mission to defend a planet, Calypso. But I believe that was my first introduction to the Illuminate ever. So I played Helldivers 1, mostly just bugs and with my friends, and didn't really go out and fight Automaton or Illuminate. The first... or not the first, but I think this was the major order in the first game I joined. We were doing this major order, fighting on Calypso, and it was really fun. It was intense. And it's my favorite for being my first experience with the Illuminate.
That's awesome, and you have like a great personal reason to have it on your list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't that around the time you joined the game as well?
Yep, that was right when I joined. Yeah. Then I also liked how it's defend one planet from the Illuminate, and then the next major order, defend many planets from the Illuminate.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah, so I think we're on to the number one, right?
One.
So let's go.
I think so.
Number
Sure.
one major order. What is yours, Snuff?
Well, surprise, surprise, surprise. It's killing orders.
You had us in the first lap, I'm not gonna lie.
I really thought you were gonna have like a normal major order. You could have picked 3 different killing orders.
Oh, I know. I just love them all. Because their main reason I like them so much is because it lets you drop in on whatever planet you want. Lets you usually fight whatever you want. You can do whatever you want, really. You don't have to
Right.
focus solely on one planet and one type of missions, for example, like defending, where you pretty much always have to use do the fortress one, defend the fortress, things like that, on almost all trios of missions.
Mm-hmm.
So that is the reason I like those so much, and often during those MOs, the enemies are usually attacking new planets. So you have the defense planets, you have the attack planets, you got it all, and that is my main reason I like them so much. It gives everyone the ability to do whatever gameplay they want.
Yeah.
Very nice. There was a second there I could have swore he was gonna say Super Earth.
Well, you haven't heard my super number one yet, so you never know. There's also always the super one.
Well, we do like to have an honorable mention. So if something didn't make your list, or if it was by default number one and you chose not to put it in there, do you have an honorable mention, or I guess we can call it a super number one?
I do have a super
What's your
one.
super number one? Or should we
Super
wait?
Earth. Super Earth. It's 100% Super Earth.
Alright.
It's not even an MO, it's just Super Earth.
All right, well, Bacon, do you want to do your number one major order?
Sure. My number one major order is rescue the children or the explosives.
Oh, yeah.
And oh yeah. Main reason is because of how the community chose to save the children, but second reason is Arrowhead put out a video called Chronicles of Joel, and in episode 2 he talks about rescuing the children or getting the anti-tank mines. And it's a really, really great episode. I highly recommend it. We'll drop it in the Discord, a link to it. And it's really well written.
Nice. Awesome.
Yeah.
And it was kind of part of my number 3 pick, kind of. It's kind of,
Yeah.
was it the second iteration of the anti-tank mines? Or the third?
Second or third, I think.
Yeah.
I think third. I don't remember correctly, but yeah.
I think it might have been the second, because the first one was for the airburst.
Yeah.
And then, no, yeah, it was the
Yeah,
third.
it's the third,
It was
because the second one was killing one.
Yep.
To kill as many bots as possible for gathering up the materials to construct the mines.
Right, and then we failed that
Yeah.
one.
Damn bug divers.
So
It was funny though.
I think it's time for my number one major order. It's A1-5-6 Operation Enduring Peace. And I put phase 1, but phase 2 as well. And this is the only major order on my list that wasn't in April of last year. Funnily enough, this is in May of last year, I think. And this is the whole thing on Meridia. So the briefing goes, the time has come to address the Terminid super colony on Meridia. Using an experimental substance weaponized by our top scientific minds, the Helldivers will conduct a targeted strike to permanently end the threat posed by the super colony. And this was a success. It was a 2-part operation where Helldivers deployed dark fluid and destroyed Meridia, and it's like a black hole, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is actually, it's a cool part in the lore of the game, but also in the Super Earth podcast. There's an episode where Mike and Lito were talking about being on the ship as they saw Meridia exploding, and you could see chunks of the planet like going past the ship.
Yeah. It was pretty cool.
And I don't think that I have any honorary mentions because all the really good stuff got put in the list. We all kind of had similar lists, not the exact same, but I like the amount of crossover we had. Do you have any honorary mentions, Bacon?
I don't know. Super number
Super
one.
number one.
Undemocratic. I'll just put Super Earth above both of your heads.
Sure.
So you don't have to. You don't have to face the wall today.
So this one's actually from our email. It was emailed by Masked Gamer. sent it to us. And if you have any stories, drop it in the Discord. Send us an email at superearthpod
And tell us your ship
@gmail.com.
name if you're gonna send in a story.
Yeah. Ship name, all of the above.
Yeah.
Written by Masked Gamer. Ship name, redacted. Call sign, redacted. Location, redacted. Time, redacted. Edited by the Ministry of Truth. On a cold winter night, on a battlefield far from Super Earth, a band of veterans sat around a ruined and scorched earth hut that sheltered us from razor rain, while we waited for the next wave of relentless enemy who were no doubt hungry for our blood. We told stories of conquests and valor until a member of a sister platoon spoke up, hailing from Cog Team Omega. He spoke about his battles on a different front, a front the likes of which we have not seen before. He spoke of the fallen and the brutality of the enemy, especially on the battlefield of Malevelon Creek, upon which he had seen multitudes of his comrades fall to the mechanical scourge of named the Automation Legion. He spoke of hiding amongst the bodies of his brethren and debris of the scum they had slain in vain while countless enemy roamed the battlefield, hunting for the survivors. He crawled his way to the extraction and luckily made it out alive. We sat pondering his story, looking into his empty eyes that opened a doorway to his scarred soul. He sat in front of us, broken and in silence. He had an eerie stillness to him, something I had not seen before and have not seen since. He lifted his head and spoke these words.
Our brethren on distant planets need my help in the ongoing onslaught against its enemies, but I cannot do it alone. I beseech you to join me. Bring your fury and brutality with you to chop down the foes that plague the universe and threaten humanity.
So, from this day forward, my team, myself, and the remainder of Cog Team Alpha are on our way to defend the universe from the enemy that threatens our PlayStation and PC brothers and unite all forces. Hopefully, in the not-so-distant future, the holy trinity of Xbox, PlayStation, and PC can come together and fight to hold the monstrosities at bay. For blood and glory. Hoorah!
Nice.
That's pretty good.
The end.
Yeah.
Good story.
I do hope that we someday might get to see Xbox and
Yeah, I would love to see that.
Yeah, and he was talking about, actually, was he the one that said his ship name was a cog something?
I think that was a different guy,
Okay.
honestly.
Well, he says Cog Team Alpha, so this must be like a Gears of War reference, right? So
yeah.
it would be great to have, our Gears of War brethren fight against,
Oh yeah. I've never played Gears of War before.
it's
barely know
solid,
what
man.
it's
It's
about.
another really good co-op game where you fight like, hordes of baddies. It's similar.
Very nice.
And it's a third-person shooter. Yeah, kind of
Very
similar to
nice.
Helldivers.
Yeah.
It's kind of
Just a different theme.
yeah, I would say it's a mix of like Helldivers and maybe Warhammer 40K without all the lore. Like it's really
Okay,
it kind of seems similar to that. And Warhammer 40K, kind of similar to Helldivers. So it's in the same vein. Like if you're used to fighting all these bugs on Gears of War, then yeah, come over. Get a PC or PlayStation, or hopefully they add Helldivers to Xbox. But yeah, is it time for our next segment?
I think it's time, guys. I think it's time.
It's time.
What time is it? It is ship names.
Ship
Ship
names.
names.
You're baking. I'll let you go first.
Sure. So this one comes from Spotify, and it's Yellmates with the SES Queen of Audacity.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you for your service. And there's no reason with it. It's just Queen of Audacity.
Sometimes you don't need
But
a
I
reason.
think that's reason enough.
Yeah, I think it speaks for itself. I would say
Oh yeah.
it speaks loud and audible.
I'll do this
wanna
one.
take it,
Yeah,
Tiggy?
what is? I haven't read it yet,
Yeah.
so I'm just gonna read it as I go. It's from Discord. It's technically difficult. The SES, elected representative of individual merit. The name offers a unique tactical advantage as you can usually get a barrage with a 380 millimeter off before the enemy is done staying it. Now, I'm gonna assume this is like just a name he gave his ship and not a name that he picked in the game, and that's fine. We'll read those too. We like those.
Yeah,
I think you can actually choose SES elected Reddit.
Can you?
Mhm.
yeah. I think elected representative is one of the ones you can choose.
That's awesome. Then
You can be elected.
that's really good. Well, and even if you guys have a ship name that's not, and like, just tell us. We'll say it. That's fine. I remember in Sea of Thieves, I remember Googling how to name your ship, and it said on Google, this is before they added how to actually name your ship in the game. On Google's, the answer said just decide a name for it.
Yeah, and like if you guys also have wishes or suggestions to new ship name combos that can be added to the game, tell us.
Yeah.
Let us know.
Oh, and don't forget if you have mottos. Like there was one guy who had a motto for his ship.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. All right. Next one comes from our email, and it is Dalton, who says, just finished building a gaming PC and we'll be playing Helldivers 2 soon. He wants his ship name to be SES Warcog, as in Warthog from Halo and Cogs from Gears of Wars. All right, so he basically did what I just said.
Yeah.
And told us what he hopes he can name his ship. Unfortunately, Dalton, you cannot name it that. Yet, at least.
You can in your mind.
But you can in your mind. Thank you for your service.
Thank you for your soon-to-be
Yes, thank you for
service,
your
too.
service.
Yeah. And he also asked us if we could add anything to the game, what would it be and why? Add anything to the game? More enemies?
I have a couple things that I would like to add. I think I would like to have regular troops, because there's no way that they only have the Super Earth only has Helldivers. We've seen Seaf troops in other forms, and I would like to see just regular dudes fighting it out on the game.
For that, I would love to see, like, when it's defending a planet, I would love to see some Seaf troops being on a planet. If you're liberating a planet, I would think it would be cool if you could call in Seaf troops from the DSS.
Yeah.
Because it shouldn't be on a planet if we don't own it already, obviously. But we could call in a small squad from the DSS now and then, for example.
Yeah, and somebody also in the Discord.
They don't have to be super. They don't have to be super good, but it would just be a cool thing to have available.
Well, I'd like to play like them as ODST, like in the ODST games where you could play as them.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, somebody else also in the Discord had the idea of like, what if you had, because if you think that like Helldivers are technically kind of special forces, right? So you can shoot their little hell pods wherever you need, or you could do like a special. They do kind of special purpose missions, right? So you could. Somebody had the idea of, what if there was missions on like floating meteorites or whatever? What if there's an objective that you had to do on a satellite or something?
Yeah.
Like you could potentially do that. It wouldn't be. I feel like it might be difficult for the developers, but that would, special purpose missions like that, kind of.
Could be cool.
Are lore friendly, I think.
Yeah. Another thing I would like to see as well as the war progresses, I don't want to see it yet. I want to see it in more of the late game, because I think that would be more realistic, is space warfare, like ship battles. Or you drop in as a Helldiver on the enemy automaton spaceship, for example. The ones that they attack the planets with. And you have... So that's kind of like in between where they're attacking from, you can drop in between those two planets and start attacking the fleet that is on the way to the planet they're going to attack. I think that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, that would
just
be
fighting
awesome.
on board a ship. And when you have that, you wouldn't be able to call in orbitals, for example, because obviously you can't. Because you're in the middle of space, you don't have the gravity. You could use the laser, yes, but a lot of the orbitals depends on gravity, you know. So
Right.
they wouldn't work as well. So you would have what you drop in with, and that's pretty much it.
That would be pretty cool.
Other things you can find on the ships, for example, like enemy machine guns, you know, the turrets that are placed in bases and stuff. Maybe there are some of those here and there on the ship. I think that would be pretty cool to see.
It would. It'd be really cool.
Because then you could stop a defense mission from happening at all by destroying their whole fleet that is on the way there. I think that would be very cool to see.
Yeah. One thing I would want to add to the game is in Helldivers 1, Helldivers 1. And it's the Angel Guardian backpack. But why I would want to see it is we would have to need it to have it. And so kind of relating to Snuff's very first point of more enemies.
Yeah.
More enemies to need that backpack.
Because it's kind of like I've talked about before, if they start adding things like that now, it would make the game even easier, and we're already so overpowered.
Yeah.
Compared to the enemies. Like it's still fun and challenging. Don't take me wrong, guys, but it is a lot easier. You see, like Bacon, you play on level 10 with me. Yes, you die a lot more than me, but obviously I have a lot more hours in the game. But you still do fairly fine. And you're almost brand new to the game still.
That's because I'm free of thought.
Hell yeah.
Oh my gosh. We were playing Snuff and I were playing with Coyote J, and I don't remember what mission it was, but it was on automatons, and Coyote just kept dying so many times, and he was getting so frustrated. And we were defending the dropship point, and there was the Hulk tank that was coming up towards him, and I was shooting at that. I killed it, and then I see him, and then I shoot him thinking that he was an enemy. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. And he got so mad. And I'm like, I'm free of thought.
Yeah, what was mine?
Something moved, shoot it.
I think, wasn't that one of the missions where I only used the mines as well? And made it...
I think so.
And made it super painful for you guys. You had to watch it. I think you stepped on mines... Like half of his deaths were just mine deaths.
It sure was. I'm so sorry, Coyote J.
It was a fun day.
Well, we're close to wrapping up. Now, we don't have a community test this week.
No, we don't have one since we already have the event going on.
So then your community task is to put your listener stories in the Discord. Put your ship names in the Discord. Join the Discord if you haven't. We'd love to see you there. We'd love to play Helldivers 2 with you. Submit your stories, ship names, add clips and TikToks in the clips and highlight channel if you want. And, make yourself known. Talk to us.
Tell us what you want to hear on the podcast as well. If you want to hear about mods for the game, for example, tell us.
Yeah, if you want a top 5 section about mods, tell us. If you have suggestions for a top 5 section, let us know.
And any questions, let us know as well. We'll try to answer it.
And
best of our
with that being said,
abilities.
for Super Earth.
For Super Earth. Are you ready to play, guys?
Ba-da-da-da.
I'm ready.
All Super Earth podcast content is based on the game Helldivers 2, created by Arrowhead Game Studios and published by Sony Interactive Entertainment.